Imagine you are a Roman legionary, standing in the Mesopotamian sun. For centuries, your legions have been the hammer of the world. You have conquered Gaul, Greece, and Carthage. No enemy has ever broken your lines. Then, you see the dust cloud. It rises from the east, but this is no ordinary barbarian horde. From the heat haze emerge giants on horseback, men and beasts clad head to hoof in gleaming steel. They do not charge, they glide, a wall of iron and death. The ground trembles. Your gladius feels like a toy. This is the moment the mighty Roman Empire met its match. This is the revenge of the East. The rise of the Sassanid Cataphracts and the 700-year war that broke Rome's invincibility. In 53 BCE, the Roman Republic was at the height of its power, but it was also torn by civil strife. Three men, Pompey, Caesar, and Crassus, ruled as the first triumvirate. The richest of them was Marcus Crassus, a man who had made his fortune through war and, some said, by buying burning buildings at a discount. He craved a military victory to match Caesar's conquest of Gaul and Pompey's triumphs in the east. Crassus set his sights on the wealthy Parthian Empire, which controlled the Silk Road trade routes of modern-day Iran, Iraq, and Afghanistan. The Parthians were descendants of the nomadic Scythian tribes who had overthrown the Seleucid Greeks. Their heartland was the arid plains east of the Euphrates. Crassus, underestimating them as mere barbarians, marched east with 7 legions, nearly 40,000 heavy infantry, 4,000 light infantry, and 4,000 cavalry. But the Parthians, and later the Sassanids who overthrew them in 224 CE, had developed a weapon specifically designed to destroy legions: the cataphract. The word comes from the Greek kataphractos, meaning armored all over. These were the medieval knights, born 1,000 years early. Each cataphract was a walking fortress. He wore a helmet of solid steel, a mail coif, a cuirass of iron scales or lamellar, and armored leggings. His horse wore a bronze or iron chestplate, a chamfron over its face, and sometimes armored skirts. The rider was armed with a 12-foot kontos lance, gripped with both hands, and a heavy mace, a long sword, or a powerful composite bow. The kontos was so heavy that it required both hands, meaning the cataphract controlled his horse with his knees alone, a skill learned from childhood on the steppes. When lowered, it could punch through a Roman shield, armor, and body in a single thrust. Crassus was about to learn this lesson in blood. Crassus marched his legions into the arid plains near the town of Carrhae. The Parthian commander was a brilliant nobleman named Sirena. Though not the king, he commanded a small but elite force: 1,000 cataphracts and 9,000 horse archers. He knew he could not beat Roman infantry in a straight fight, so he refused to fight one. Instead, Sirena unleashed his horse archers, thousands of them. They rode in a continuous circle, showering arrows, and perfected the famous Parthian shot, retreating at full speed while turning backward in the saddle to fire with deadly accuracy. The legionaries raised their shields. But the Parthian arrows were designed with heavy, three-flanged bronze heads to punch through armor. Men fell. Gaps opened. Crassus ordered his light infantry to charge, but the horse archers simply rode away, shooting as they fled. When the Romans tired, the horse archers returned. This went on for hours under a blazing sun. The Romans were dying of thirst and exhaustion. The horse archers parted like a curtain. Behind them, the Cataphracts. They did not charge. They walked into the Roman lines. A 12-foot lance lifted a legionary off his feet. The mail-piercing arrows rained down. The Roman square shattered. Crassus himself was captured. And in a final act of humiliation, the Parthians reportedly poured molten gold down the throat of his severed head. A symbol. The greed of the West consumed by the fire of the East. Carrhae was only the beginning. For the next 700 years, the Roman and later Byzantine empires fought an almost continuous war against the Parthians and their successors, the Sassanid Persians, who were even more formidable. In 224 CE, Ardashir I overthrew the Parthians and founded the Sassanid dynasty, claiming descent from the Achaemenids. He declared Rome the eternal enemy. The Sassanid Cataphract evolved into an even heavier version called the Clibanarii, Latin for oven men, because the armor became so thick that soldiers inside risked overheating. Their horses were also fully armored. A full charge of Clibanarii could break almost any infantry line. In 260 CE, the Sassanid Shapur I achieved what no Parthian ever had. He captured a Roman emperor alive. At the Battle of Edessa, Shapur's cataphracts smashed the Roman army led by Emperor Valerian. Valerian was taken to Persia and spent the rest of his life as a living footstool for Shapur, a humiliation Rome never forgot or forgave. The Romans adapted. They built a network of fortified cities along the border, each with deep moats and high walls. They recruited their own heavy cavalry, the Equites Cataphractarii, based on the Persian model. Emperor Diocletian reformed the army to focus on defense in depth, but no adaptation could end the war. The Siege of Amida, 359 CE, is a perfect example. The Sassanid King Shapur II besieged the Roman fortress city for 73 days. He used siege towers, battering rams, and even war elephants. The Romans held until a traitor opened a gate. The city fell. 30,000 Romans were killed or enslaved. Neither empire could ever truly conquer the other. The Romans never held the Sassanid capital of Ctesiphon for more than a few years. The Persians could never permanently hold Roman Syria or Anatolia. The conflict bled both empires white. And here is the twist. This 700-year war of revenge and rivalry directly paved the way for the rise of Islam. Consider the final apocalyptic war of 602 to 628 CE. The Sassanid king Khosrow II, Parviz, the victorious, launched a massive offensive, taking Jerusalem in 614 CE, carrying off the true cross, and conquering Egypt in 619 CE. The Byzantine Emperor Heraclius nearly despaired, but he rebuilt his army with church funds, trained a new cavalry force, and struck back. In a stunning reversal, Heraclius defeated the Persian army at the Battle of Nineveh in 627 CE. He marched to the gates of Ctesiphon, destroyed Khusro's favorite palace at Dastagird, and recovered the true cross. By 628 CE, both empires were utterly exhausted, their treasuries empty, their armies shattered, their populations decimated by plague and war. Just 6 years later, in 634 CE, the first Arab Muslim armies burst out of the Arabian desert. They were united by a new faith, led by generals like Khalid ibn al-Walid, and they faced no serious resistance. Within a decade, they had conquered the entire Sassanid Empire, ending it in 651 CE, and stripped Rome of its richest provinces, Syria, Palestine, Egypt, and North Africa. The revenge of the East did not end with a Persian triumph in Rome. It ended with both superpowers so crippled that a new power from the sands could erase them. The Cataphracts, the terror of the legions, were ultimately undone not by a better soldier, but by the exhaustion of an endless war. Iran's victory over Rome was Pyrrhic. It won the battles, but lost the world. The historian Procopius, writing in the 6th century, observed that Persians and Romans have always been at war with each other, and they will never make a lasting peace. He was right, but he could not foresee that their endless conflict would clear the path for a new world order. History is full of decisions that seemed right in the moment. Where do you stand on this one? Was Rome foolish to keep poking the East? Or was Iran's relentless revenge a self-defeating prophecy? Let us know in the comments. If you're hooked on uncovering the strange truths of the past, join us next for The Sword and the Pen, the Power of Persian Art, where we explore the Safavid awakening and how Iran rose from the ashes of empires using poetry, science, and breathtaking architecture as its new weapons. Hit subscribe so you never miss a revelation.